Every year, Star Citizen hosts Citizencon. This is where they talk about all the upcoming changes and plans coming to the game in the near future. This video will break down all the points without any of the fluff. Pyro is still being worked on. The focus is on terrains and biomes, mostly showing off biome transitions and the scale of terrains such as mountains, plants, and rocks. New mission type, Investigation. The focus is to find evidence and information. This will require you to think and find things out on your own, with only a story to give you clues and leads. It is up to the player to obtain an answer, which may or may not be correct. This is currently in the prototype stage and is being developed with the new mobiGlas system. The current underground facilities that we have are tiny in comparison to what they want to create. Underground facilities will be split into zones. Zone 1 will be the surface. They want to make underground facilities grander, with landing bays, ground entrances, and hangars. Zone 2 will focus on the connection to the underground with large elevators for vehicles and cargo. Zone 3 will be industrial in nature, with large or long spaces for logistical travel. Zone 4 will be the main work area for excavators and heavy machinery. This is also where you will find entrances to caves, rivers, lava, and so on. Lorville is currently getting a rework, and restricted flight areas are being removed, allowing us to fly anywhere that we want in cities. We also had a new ship reveal, the Crusador Spirit. The ship will compete with things like the Freelancer and the Cutlass series. It has 3 variations. The C1, which is geared towards cargo and light vehicle use, the A1, which is a light to medium bomber, and the E1, which is a VIP airliner. The Drake Corsair also seems to be near completion, and the Greycat STV is going to be released with the new planned racetracks. As mentioned prior, the mobiGlas is getting a rework to feel more intuitive and similar to the systems in our world. They also want to introduce an FPS Radar. This will be a radar ping for on foot with 2 functions, a quick scan that highlights things close by, and a hold and release for further reach and more information. It also gives away your location, so you have to be careful around who and when you use this deep scan feature. On-foot traversal is also getting a rework, adding more depth to climbing, vaulting, holding, and general interaction with the world. Their goal is to have more fluid movements around the world and less rigid animations, including an EVA. Speaking of EVA, this too is also getting a rework. Being in low gravity will place you in a lateral position, making traversal less cumbersome as we won't have to judge the width of our arms and legs as we try to float through debris. They are also adding push and pull mechanics to movement in 0G. AI is getting a big improvement. It was slightly hinted that creatures were coming to the verse at some point, but in general, the focus is to make AI more human. They want intelligent behavior, such as cover usage, flanking, and the ability to maneuver together to hunt the player down. They will be challenging not because of their aim, but because of their positioning and teamwork. AI will also have different behaviors depending on their faction and personalities, which are all randomly generated, faction excluded. This is planned to translate to flight AI as well, with the goal being to make AI systemic and reactive to their environments. This also includes random conversations between AIs in the environment, in response to things going on in that environment. Now, CIG is not trying to create an RPG system, but they are implementing skills. It's going to rely more on physical attributes, like strength, speed, and cardio, which will all increase depending on what you do in the verse. They don't want to focus on training systems, but rather progressive systems that increase as you naturally play the game. For example, higher endurance would allow you to endure more G-forces in ship combat. This will be gained by just flying around in the verse. Let's talk about ship roles. Archetypes were a big focus this year. The goal seems to make sure ships fulfill their intended use. Light fighters will dominate in 1 vs 1s, heavy fighters will excel in group fights, medium fighters will be multi-role fighters, good at a variety of things but great at nothing. Interceptors will be the fastest ships in a straight line, keeping ships from escaping will be its primary job. And bigger ships, like Connie series and higher, will focus on range, shield, and fire arc positioning like naval combat. They also introduced mastery modes. They want combat to be more about positioning and less about max speeds. They're increasing the overall strength of your forward boost while reducing the power of reverse. This means that in the future, PvP will probably rely more on knife fighting capabilities. This is actually one of the main focuses of my channel, so make sure to check out some of my guides if it's something you want to improve on. Speeds will be tied down to modes such as SCM and QCM. SCM, or Standard Control Mode, allows you to use missiles, shields, and guns. Your max speed will be anywhere between 200 to 300 meters a second. This will be possible to exceed temporarily with the use of boost. QCM, or Quantum Control Mode, will unlock your maximum velocity and will allow you to do unlocked small quantum jumps in straight lines, allowing you to travel faster between close points of interest. This mode does have cons. It will remove your shields, weapons, and boost, making you susceptible to interdictors, which will have the capability of locking other ships out of QCM mode. The final topic they touched on, which is extremely important, is resource management. Time to kill will increase, and disabling ships will become more crucial than ever. Multi-crew ships will require other players to move shields around, repair broken components, and much more. Power energy and resources will be the ability to overload items for more power, with the risk of damaging said items. Underloading will allow players to divert more power to other systems. Players will have to pay attention to power, fuel, heat generation, and coolant to maintain a balanced ship. Life support must be maintained. Oxygen and temperature in the ship will matter. Decompression and fires will become possible hazards. Access controls will be the ability of the captain to give roles to players, giving access to certain systems in the ship defined by the given role, such as gunner, engineer, and so on. Gravity will not require energy from your ship to run, which can be disabled to save power for more important components. Relay networks will be the electrical system in ships that will require things like fuses to maintain power across the ship. Lastly, they'll be adding a minimap that functions with scanning, allowing it to work in any location. A special thanks to all the supporters on YouTube, Twitch, and Patreon, and with that being said, I'll catch you all on the next one.